iOS 26 public beta. Top 4 features you need to know. Get ready for a major shakeup in your iPhone experience. Apple's iOS 26 public beta is here, and it's bringing some bold changes you won't want to miss. But here's where it gets controversial. Not all of these updates are sitting well with users, and some are already sparking heated debates. Let's dive into the 4 biggest transformations you'll encounter, and why they might just divide opinions. Apple is currently refining iOS 26, arguably its most ambitious software overhaul in years. As usual, the company is inviting users to test drive this work-in-progress update. But there's a catch. You'll need an iPhone 11 or newer and a healthy tolerance for quirks. And this is the part most people miss. There's no guarantee your favorite apps will function flawlessly, or that your phone won't overheat or drain its battery faster than usual. If you're risk-averse, don't worry. We've been testing this software for weeks, and here's your insider's guide to what's coming. The liquid glass revolution. Your iPhone is about to look radically different thanks to the new liquid glass design. Love it or hate it, this glossy translucent aesthetic is here to stay. And there's no way to turn it off completely. App icons, notifications, buttons, and even menu bars will now have a see-through effect, giving your device a futuristic sheen. But here's the kicker. While it's visually striking, some users are already complaining that certain elements are hard to see, as they blend too much with the background. Apple is still fine-tuning this design, and your feedback could shape its final look. Speaking of which, if you install the beta and find it frustrating, use the new Feedback app to share your plots directly with Apple. Number 2, a smarter phone app. Or it. Let's face it, phone calls can be a hassle. iOS 26 aims to fix that with some clever features. For instance, you can now require callers to state their purpose before your phone rings, effectively screening out spam. Another nifty tool detects when you're on hold and mutes the call until a live person speaks. But here's where it gets tricky. The software struggles to differentiate between human voices and reportees, often buzzing you unnecessarily. Is this a game changer or a half-baked solution? You decide. Number 3, Apple Intelligence, hit or miss. This update introduces a mix of AI-powered tools, but their practicality is up for debate. Live translated captions on FaceTime? Handy, but slow. A translation tool for phone calls? Impressive, but limited to just 4 languages: French, German, Portuguese, and Spanish. Meanwhile, the Visual Intelligence tool now lets you interact with screenshots in new ways, like asking ChatGPT for insights or searching Google for specific items. The controversial twist? While these features are innovative, many users wonder how often they'll actually use them. Are they must-haves or just gimmicks? Let's discuss. Number 4, a streamlined camera app. But is it enough? The iPhone's camera app has finally gotten a much-needed redesign, with exotic modes like panorama hidden by default and settings clearly labeled. Plus, your phone will now alert you when your lenses are dirty. But here's the question. While these changes are welcome, do they go far enough? For creators, the ability to use external microphones and AirPods as a remote is a step forward. But the latter only works when the AirPods are in your ears. A strange limitation. Is this a missed opportunity, or are we nitpicking? As iOS 26 continues to evolve, one thing is clear. Apple is pushing boundaries, but not everyone is on board. What do you think? Are these changes a step in the right direction? Or has Apple gone too far? Share your thoughts below. Let's spark a conversation. iOS 26 public beta. Discover the new features on your iPhone lock screen. iOS 26 public beta is here, and it's stirring up excitement with some bold changes to the lock screen that you simply can't ignore. If you've taken the plunge and installed the beta ahead of the fall release, get ready to explore a host of fresh features and improvements that might just change how you interact with your iPhone. To begin, if you're curious to test out iOS 26 on your device, simply navigate to Settings, then General, and select Software Update. From there, tap on Beta Updates and choose iOS 26 Public Beta from the available list. After you hit back and wait for the update screen to load, simply press Update Now to start the process. Now, While things may be polished further before the final release, the current developer beta already offers 5 noteworthy changes on the lock screen. 1. Widgets can now be moved. Unlike iOS 18, where the widget row was fixed right below the clock, iOS 26 introduces a customize mode that lets you drag your widgets all the way to the bottom of the screen. This new placement means they hover immediately above any quick actions you use, a change that makes one-handed usage a breeze. Simply long press the lock screen, tap Customize, and reposition your widgets as you like. But here's where it gets controversial. Should Apple completely overhaul the traditional layout that many users have grown accustomed to? Enhanced clock display. In this update, the clock on your lock screen can be expanded using a new drag handle located at the bottom right corner of its selection frame. You can enlarge it so that the time occupies up to half the screen for easier reading. An added bonus is that if you're using widgets, they automatically reposition to accommodate the larger clock. Additionally, when you apply a depth effect to a photo and crop it with a pinch gesture, the time adjusts its size to fit perfectly. However, note that this feature depends on the photo selection, and if there isn't enough room above your photo's main subject, the resizing option might not appear. 3. Streamlined photo access. iOS 26 also refines how you interact with photos on your lock screen. The new photo selection button appears as a mini version of the current image. Tapping on this button now gives you the choice to either open the photo in your library, which simplifies finding it later, or to use the Choose Photo option to pick a different image. This might seem small, but it greatly enhances your overall experience. 4. Introducing spatial scenes. For those with iPhone 15 Pro and newer models, spatial photo capabilities take a giant leap forward. Although true 3D photos are best experienced on devices like Apple's Vision Pro, iOS 26 now allows the conversion of standard 2D images into 3D spatial scenes right within the Photos app. When setting a new lock screen wallpaper, compatible images are automatically enhanced with this effect, animating impressively as you move your device. It's important to note that this machine learning-driven feature isn't available on every single photo, but its potential, available on iPhone 12 models and later, is bound to spark plenty of debate among users about when and how such technology should be integrated. 5. Animated album art for music. Music lovers have something to cheer about, as iOS 26 now supports full-screen animated album art on the lock screen for certain Apple Music tracks. By simply tapping the album art in the lock screen music interface, the artwork comes alive and expands, offering a more engaging listening experience. Although not every song comes with this feature yet, its growing availability, along with Apple's plans to extend the functionality to third-party apps like Spotify and YouTube Music, are likely to draw mixed opinions among both die-hard Apple fans and music streaming enthusiasts. These fresh enhancements not only serve to improve functionality, but also raise some intriguing questions. Should the classic design be overhauled so drastically? And does every user really need an animated lock screen experience? What are your thoughts on these changes? Do you welcome the innovation or prefer keeping things simple and traditional? Share your opinions and join the conversation on these exciting developments, because sometimes the most significant shifts in technology spark the most passionate debates. Exploring iPadOS 26 public beta, a game changer for productivity? iPadOS 26, a major leap for the iPad. Imagine a device that's shedding its past constraints and embracing a future where productivity isn't just possible, but expected. That's the vibe of iPadOS 26, now available as a public beta. https://beta.apple.com/beta program. A software update that feels like a long-awaited revolution for the iPad. It's not just about flashy new designs. It's about redefining what the iPad can do for professionals, creators, and everyday users alike. But here's where it gets controversial. Apple's latest design language, referred to as liquid glass, has sparked mixed reactions. While some praise its sleek, translucent aesthetic, others find it overwhelming. This is the part most people miss: the balance between innovation and usability. Apple is trying to create a glassy, modern look without sacrificing readability. but the results are still a work in progress. Backgrounds dim, text colors invert, and color schemes shift based on your scrolling speed. It's a gamble, and not all bets pay off. The Mac influence is now unmistakable. One thing is clear, Apple has finally embraced the Mac's windowing model. With iPadOS 26, the iPad no longer tries to mimic a Mac, it becomes it. You can now resize windows freely, stack them side by side, and even place them off the screen. The three familiar stoplight buttons in the top left corner control everything, from full screen mode to tiling. It works on all iPads, including the Mini, and even on external displays. For those who've forgotten they're using iPadOS while connected to a studio display, it's a reminder that the iPad is no longer just a tablet. It's a workspace. The menu bar, a step closer to the Mac. Another Mac-inspired feature is the return of the menu bar, which appears only when you're in multi-window mode. It's centered, not aligned to the left like on the Mac, but it's a step toward consistency. Developers can now add custom menu items, and users can access them via a swipe or keyboard shortcut. It's a small but meaningful gesture, especially for those who've spent years navigating apps with icons and tabs. Pro podcasting and file management get a boost. For audio and video creators, iPadOS 26 is a game changer. The new local background recording feature lets you record calls and audio simultaneously, saving files directly to your device. It's a simple interface, but powerful enough to replace expensive studio equipment. And the Files app has been upgraded to feel more like Finder, with customizable lists, folder expansions, and progress tracking for long transfers. It's a subtle but vital evolution toward a more desktop-like experience. Shortcuts get smarter with AI integration. Apple's Shortcuts app has taken a big leap with the introduction of the Use Model action, which connects workflows to AI models like private cloud compute and ChatGPT. This opens up new possibilities for automation, from generating image descriptions to creating file names. It's a glimpse into the future of intelligent tools that adapt to your needs rather than the other way around. The road ahead. While iPadOS 26 is still a public beta, the vibes are positive. Apple has created a system that feels both familiar and fresh, blending the best of the Mac with the iPad's unique strengths. But questions remain. Will this momentum continue? Can Apple keep up with the demands of professionals who expect a desktop-level experience? And what happens to the features that were phased out, like split view and slide over? What do you think? Are you ready for a more Mac-like iPad experience? Share your thoughts in the comments below. The future of the iPad is in our hands, and it's time to decide what kind of device we want it to be.